Come, let us explore whether you have a Buddha nature. Together, let us relaxingly recite. A recurring phrase in both Mahayana as well as Tantric literature is Tathagata or Buddha nature. This charming Iron Age turn of phrase hints that enlightenment is our birthright and easily attained, without requiring heroic effort or noble sacrifice. Sounds great, sign me up, but the mystery remains, how is one to realize it? One of the many advantages of living in this age is that medical professionals have access to sophisticated imaging technology of which the ancients could have never conceived. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, studies have revealed that it is our sympathetic nervous system that is the seat of mindfulness, or sati, our parasympathetic nervous system that is the seat of meditation, or samadhi, and our anterior cingulate gyrus that is the seat of our loving kindness, or metta. It is these three structures that comprise our Buddha nature, but a villain lurks. Dun dun dun! Just as the Buddha's foil was his foolish cousin Devadatta, so too is the team of our prefrontal cortex the seat of analysis as well as focus, and our amygdala the seat of anxiety and aggression, the opponents to the mechanism of our Buddha nature. Just as Jack the Ripper taught us that a surgeon's scalpel could be used to take lives as well as save them, so too could both the prefrontal cortex as well as the amygdala be abused as well as used. The solution to this dilemma is twofold. The easy method to strike the match of enlightenment already in our grasp is to allow our sympathetic nervous system to mindfully do its thing during our inhalations, and let our parasympathetic nervous system meditatively do its thing during our exhalations. Thus, sitting in formal mindfulness and meditation once every 12 hours or so, we set space to live from our empathetic anterior cingulate gyrus effortlessly and automatically. A delightful fringe benefit of this is the manner in which our choices, utterances, and deeds could begin to flow from the right or effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, which is the key to the sustainable use of our analytical prefrontal cortex as well as our primal amygdala. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. In my mind's ear, once I finish the opening lesson, I want to hear the concluding music to a Looney Tunes cartoon. Or at least I hear it in the ear of my mind. So let's shift gears. It is Wednesday. Let's try this again. It is Qui-Gon Jinn Wednesday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this evening's live stream, I would very much like to play with the Diamond-like Mind Mantra Meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Let us begin with wisdom's warm-up, and as always, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. I live to answer your questions. Sincerely, I'm not being sarcastic. So let us practice Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability, which is also creation stage, or wisely leaping over pride's obstructions to omniscience. We begin by bringing the circumstantial into the path of wisdom, thus practicing the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. All circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. We can now divide the six-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted between our inhalations and our exhalations. We now bring the physical into the path of wisdom together. All bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this interpersonal communication or speech. We now bring the interpersonal into the path of wisdom. All interpersonal communication or speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. At last we bring the mental into the path of wisdom. All minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. We come now to our first collection of 12 sets of 12 inhalations. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the first knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. One moment. Okay, let's try this again. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the first, second, or third knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Please chant with me. What we're going to do is we're going to chant an exercise that helps us to train our subtle energies. Together. May the mastery of the Buddha's teachings of the Eightfold Path come to all crowns. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. This pertains not only to things, beings, and phenomena, but also to meditation teachers. These are the individuals who prefer Yang's religious or irreligious patriarchy to Yin's spiritual matriarchy. They'd rather be rigid than flexible. They'd rather be fearful than loving. They'd rather be superstitious than rational, controlling than laid back, elitist than egalitarian, cryptic than lucid, competitive than cooperative, cruel than kind. Therefore, it should come as little surprise that the majority of so-called meditation teachers implore their students to actively focus and actively analyze. Now, in terms of neuroscience, the only regions of our brain that can help us to do that would be discrete neural pathways such as those found in the medial or dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And yes, if you are a neuroscientist, I am deliberately using oversimplified images to keep from overwhelming people. If you take umbrage with this and would like to suggest what you feel might be a superior image, just look at my email address on my YouTube page and email it to me, and I will happily look at it. And if I agree with you, I will implement it into these texts. Anywho, overusing this front part of our brain makes us more vulnerable to the symptoms of depression. It can downright trigger our amygdala, the seat of the anxiety and aggression that are the polar opposites of the peace and love most of us desire. Fortunately, neither the prefrontal cortex nor the amygdala constitute the entirety of our central nervous system. Case in point, every time we inhale, we have evolved to automatically access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. To help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Conversely, every time we exhale, we have evolved to automatically access the parasympathetic nervous system divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. I invite you to join me, to sit comfortably, sustainably, and join me in meditation. But first I have to remind you, patriarchy tends to be elitist, and in that vein has hoodwinked the majority of us, convincing us that we can only become a Buddha if we sit in the full lotus posture. However, the most ancient of Buddha's statuary depicts Gautama not as sitting in the full lotus posture, but in the quarter lotus posture, wherein one leg just rests comfortably upon the other, like the two pieces of bread forming a PB&J. Now, the first time you attempt this posture, it's going to be ungainly and asymmetrical. That's fine. Don't force it. Be kind to your joints. Sit in this posture as best you can for as little as 5 minutes once every 12 hours. And within a week or two, your body's resurrected range of motion could surprise you. Given the importance of our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, how can we best cooperate with them? By silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, as well as silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Now, many people prefer to use the three-syllable version of this during the first minute or so, and that's fine. That would be the silent and mental recitation of the verb noticing during each inhalation, as well as the silent and mental recitation of the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Cowabunga. Let's take a moment to review the lessons we can learn from the iconography of this archetypical couple. The nudity of the cloud-colored archetype, known in Tibet as Kuntu Zongmo, reminds us that mindfulness, to be effective, must be vulnerable as naked awareness, as vulnerable as walking down the street naked, vulnerable, passive, visceral, random, and fleeting. The color of her partner, Kundu Zongpo, reminds us that as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as the illusion of the infinite azure sky and a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. The beauty of the couple, Kuntu Zongpo and Kuntu Zongmo Yab Yum, reminds us that the highest love is the spontaneous and uncontrived fringe benefit or byproduct of our mindfulness and meditation. The stability with which Kuntu Zongpo sits reminds us of centeredness. The abandon with which Kuntu Zongmo sports reminds us of spontaneity. And yes, this centered spontaneity is also, I should say, love's centered spontaneity is an additional beneficial byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. So the most efficient way for us to cooperate with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, or the monosyllabic verb ease during each exhalation. Although many people prefer to spend the first minute or so playing with their three-syllable counterparts. We conclude with compassion's cooldown. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors with statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance of explaining metaphors as similes. Let us now chant an explanation of the six-syllable mantra. Om I invoke the Vajra diamond-like strength of a sattva mind well-trained, supplicating with whom may awareness and release be mastered by all. Let us practice the creation stage of highest yoga tantra, or lovingly leaping over jealousy's obscuring emotions. Let us bring now the mental into the path of love, this training in the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Together, let us chant. May all minds of all beings know possess the joyful enlightenment, symbolized by a one-syllable Zero Bija mantra. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the six-syllable synopsis of our loving wish, not a prayer, just a wish. And during our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant 4 repetitions of this six-syllable mantra per breath, for a total of 4 breaths. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. We now bring the interpersonal into the path of love, this training in the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Together, may each being's experience of the interpersonal law speech now possess the peaceful love symbolized by a multisyllabic horizontal mantra mala. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. We now bring the physical into the path of love, thus training in the fourth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. May all bodies or forms of all beings now possess great health, symbolized by the enlightened Octopoya Dam Dorje Sampa Vajrasattva or diamond mind. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. We conclude by bringing the circumstantial into the path of love, thus training in the fifth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. May all circumstances, all lots of all beings now possess very good fortune or boon, symbolized by the mythic paradise, pure land or vati of a real or imagined Buddha. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum, Om Vajrasattva Hum. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. Whoops. Oh, that's weird. Let's see if I can't fix that bad boy. There we go. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to tomorrow's morning meditation class as well as group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.